Hey everybody, this is Jill Renee Feeler, and I have a person to introduce you guys to. Connie Rutledge is a nutritionist that I found. She was involved in my work and enjoying what we were doing, and then I found out what she did, so I hired her as a nutritionist, and it was so supportive at a time that's really anyway, there was just some changes and some of my normal strategies weren't working. So anyway, I wanted to introduce her to you. And as you've seen from maybe some of the other intro videos of other people, she's one of the handful of people I've invited to offer her services and her nutritional counseling and health betterment from my website. So I want to introduce you to Connie Rutledge. Connie, do you want to say hi and say anything that you want to about yourself?
Well, thank you so much, Jill, for having me, and I'm just so honored to be part of the team. I feel very strongly that we, as our human, being, need to really, really appreciate and know how to respond to this human bodysuit that we live in. And so every day, as a nutritionist, I can assist you in healing and feeling like you really deserve to feel, so that you can do your best work here on the planet and assist others around you and feel like you're supposed to feel.
It's so beautiful. Connie, what led you to get into nutrition? I'm curious about that.
What a great question. I myself have always been relatively healthy, so I don't have a story like you with your, how does it all begin? My daughter in 8th grade had a severe health crisis. And it was a chronic migraine situation that left her very, very sick. And the medical community couldn't answer the questions that I had. Is food contributing to this? I wasn't a nutritionist. I was interested in healthy, eating and all that. So when they kept telling me no, and I didn't see her getting better, and I had no tools. So I dug deep. The internet was new at that time. I dug deep into learning more about food and how it really does, basically give the body the information needed for healing, etc. And went forward into, we got her healthy, which was amazing. She happened to be sensitive to grains and sugars. And so I just kind of dived deep into learning more about how food affects the body and became certified, and then started my practice about 14 years ago.
It's so cool. The one of the many things that I love about you, Connie, is that you take a very pragmatic yet expanded consciousness sort of view of things. I felt your intuition when I was working with you and when I do work with you as a client. I also was impressed with how much of the testing and diagnostic that not only you know about, but you're very picky about and choosy about in terms of, well, if you're going to spend the money, let's do this test because it gives you this, 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 and this. And I know for any of us that have thyroid issues, which a lot of us do, I thought I knew a lot about which testing to do and which, teas to get tested for. And then when you and I talked about it, and I remember recently when my certified nurse practitioner was doing the testing, I texted you and I said, okay, Connie, these are the options. Which other boxes should I check? And you were like, oh, you want this, 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 this. And what was really funny is that when I got the thyroid results back, because I check it, about every 6 months because of my Graves' disease, the CNP said, now what about the other results? Because she mailed them to me too. And she said, yeah, I noticed. She said, did you check some other boxes? I said, yeah, I did. Because I mentioned, I work with a certified nutritionist and she looks for other things. And she said, well, tell the nutritionist, thank you. Because had I only received what I ordered, I wouldn't have been able to see the other side of what your body was doing with the thyroid that you are receiving and how it was working through your system. And I thought,
yay.
Yes, exactly. So, go ahead.
Well, and that's what I feel like I'm unique at. I love to understand it all. And when you understand how it works and why it works, it just makes sense. And when it makes sense to me, I do use my intuition and I get a sense of what I need, that's not quite, doesn't feel quite right. So I go back and, we do have so much information at our fingertips.
Yeah.
And we just need to know how to apply it.
Yes.
So I use diagnostic testing when it's necessary. It always goes back, and supplementation. As I'm not a doctor, I can't prescribe anything, but I can teach you how to go and use your knowledge or just suggestions, to maybe just get to that bottom line so that you get to feel the way we're supposed to feel good.
Yes. One of the other many things I appreciate about you is that you're not, I've seen naturopathic doctors, right? NDs. I've obviously seen MDs, and then CNPs and other sort of alternative health, homeopathic, holistic sorts of individuals. And in some of them, you can see when you walk in their office, they've got a wall full of supplements. And every single time I see that, I find myself walking out with a long list of supplements I need. And of course, theirs are the best. And I'm not saying they're not the best, but it just feels like the business model is very much about selling supplements. And I have clients in my intuitive business where I have clients that there was one, what was she taking? I think she was taking it was over 20. It could have been up to 40 supplements a day. And I was just like, holy shit, that's expensive number. I mean, I can't even imagine what her monthly budget is for just supplements. So I love how pragmatic you are. And that was one of the first things you and I did, is what supplements are you taking? And then I felt so silly because you were like, okay, what is the recommended amount? And I have to open my window. Sorry, it's getting hot in here. And I was like, and it said like 2 per day. And you're like, how many are you taking? I'm like, 1. And you're like, okay, so that one, probably going to want to go to 2 since it says to take 2. It's just so funny. So I think a lot of us just sort of mindlessly, yeah, I guess I need this. I guess I need that. So I do think we're spending money we don't need to spend. And we're just using supplements and resources that they may not even be good for us. Who knows? Given our individual state. So that's where I love having your expertise to really customize it for me and what's going to help me in my, phase of life, postmenopausal and Graves' disease and, want to be in my size 8 jeans and that kind of stuff. The practical things.
Well, it's important. I'm very no nonsense. And I, too, have seen naturopathic doctors and, medical doctors that have kind of sent me on a wild goose chase.
Yes.
And I appreciate the sources and resources that I have as mentors in this holistic field of nutrition and diagnostically being able to assist you in just that, kind of taking it down to simplified. I mean, you don't need a PhD to be healthy in nutrition or how your body works.
Right.
So yeah, let's get to a real efficient way of taking care of our physical body so that you can go out and enjoy your life and feel the way you want to feel.
Exactly. And food. I mean, I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I'll add it here. I think that there's a lot of misinformation. And it's really confusing to those of us that don't have an education in this. We're just trying to do the right thing. And there's so much conflicting information. And then there's new information. And I mean, I stopped my Ultimate Omega Nordic Naturals for about 3 months because I heard one person on Facebook who doesn't have specific education, but he's a kind of self-proclaimed research nut expert that was like, oh, omega-3s are the worst thing you could ever, it'll, some PUFAs in your body or something like this. So he kind of freaked me out about the omega-3s. And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't take those anymore. And I have this little place in my closet where I put the stuff that I'm not using anymore, just as my little experiment runs. And then I heard somebody else this morning say, oh, of course the omega-3s. And I trust her more than I trust the other guy he's on a rant about omega-3s. Anyway, there's just so much misinformation. And then the second thing is that I feel like a lot of people that are trying to get well, the first thing they think of is going to the gym and hiring a personal trainer. And then for people that have never had, gut dysbiosis or leaky gut, they don't understand. They may have never had the situation that working out, and maybe walking I'm not talking about, but going and raising your heart rate and, doing cardio or spinning class or something to get things back in alignment is sometimes the last thing you should do. And it's insulting when somebody that's had pretty good health, maybe they're more active than those of us that tend to be more sedentary. I don't know. When they say, well, if people would just work out, and I'm just like, I love your intention, but you really don't get what it's like to feel like when you wake up in the morning, you're already tired and you've got just enough energy to get you through the day. And no, in those cases, exercising doesn't give you more energy. It will flatten you out. So food, starting with the food, it's just so simple. And I couldn't believe the results when I really focused on food and just put to the side, I'll get to the gym later when I get my energy back and leaky gut is fixed and all those things. And I love that you have all that expertise and awareness and experience with those types of situations.
Well, and, we can take you as an example. There's a resistance factor in the beginning when you learn exactly how you're supposed to be eating, and maybe it's not working, because you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes time to heal the body. And if you know how to feed your body so that it doesn't need to, decide, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with that? And the exercise adding more oxidative stress and that is a recipe that I can help you just kind of undeniably heal with and get the results that you're looking for, whether it's weight loss or, healing a gut dysbiosis or a stomach ache, IBS, anything. Those are my forte. I work with people all week long to really offer them, suggestions and then you get to put in your input. Now, I tried that, it didn't work. Okay, did you do this? You have an expert here to really offer solutions so that you can figure out. We work together. Mm-hmm. You can offer whatever you need to offer and feel comfortable in being heard and getting those needs met in a way that makes it easy. So
I love that. What I also appreciated about you is that those that are members in my the Jill Renee Fiedler membership with different content, those know about my heart issues that I've been having here in 2019. But when you and I had a consultation, I think it was before the Greece trip, and maybe it was July or August. Anyway, and you were saying, well, how much movement are you getting? And I'm just like, and you're like, if you could just walk just like a half hour a day. And you were like, or even 10 minutes, Jill. It was just, those, I consider myself a fairly intelligent person, and it is embarrassing and very humbling that someone needed to remind me to just move, right? I'm at my computer most of the time. And I'm so happy to say that the Greece trip, I didn't really have a choice. I just you had to walk, and it was easy to get 10,000 steps a day. But I used to kind of poo-poo the 10,000 steps a day. And your voice goes in my head sometimes, and just move, Jill. And I'm like, okay, I'll turn off Game of Thrones. All right. Stop, put away the computer for a little bit, take the dog on a walk. And 3 short walks a day, 3 10-minute walks, it's easy to get to 10,000 steps.
And it's a beautiful way to connect to your soul, and to connect to what we're intended to experience ourselves on that infinite level.
Yes.
That's the beautiful thing of when you feel right in your physical body, you are connected. And that's what it's all about.
It's so cool that you say that, because since the Greece trip and the client trip to Greece, now that I'm in the habit of these walks and 10,000 steps, and I've hired my personal trainers, I was doing Pilates reformer, but that's different kind of movement. You're not really like walking forward. I have felt that connection that you're talking about. And for me, it's interesting because it relates to social media. When I'm out on a walk and there's a bald eagle, perched on the other side of the river, because I live near the river here. So it's just a fantastic walk that my dog Samson and I can take every day. And I'm seeing that bald eagle, and I was just thinking, gosh, a month or two ago, I would have been like, oh, I got to take a picture and put it on Insta. And I'm just like, I have no compulsion to like, oh, everybody look at this. Everybody stop what you're doing. And I'm just so, there's an inner calm and peace and just allowing that everybody's got their own rhythm and I don't need to, get everybody over in what I'm doing. That's really it, and I do feel like it's a form of connection through the movement and the keto that's been working really well for me, and keto in a clean way, not crappy keto.
Right.
Clean
Yeah.
keto. Yeah. Anyway, so I love your comment about the connection and the movement because I don't think I had thought about that. I tend to be a more sedentary person. So that's, yeah, it's just, and I know some people are out there like 10,000 steps, you had to work up to that. What's wrong with you? It's not my forte, you guys. And to some of us, it isn't. So judge all you want. There's probably things I do really well that you don't. So neener.
Absolutely. Exactly. And you're unique in how you lead your day to day.
Yeah.
And that's what we can just identify what works for you.
Yeah.
And make it make sense so that you effortlessly can feel the way you're supposed to feel. I mean, I keep going back to that, but it's why I do what I do.
I love it.
Because I have been on the other side of not feeling good in my body, and it doesn't. It's a constant. If I could take back the hours and years of really denigrating, downgrading, how I felt about myself, mistreating myself by the thoughts that I thought because of a behavior that I practiced until I got feeling better. And like you said, that connection, it's really simple. So I want everyone to know what I know.
No, I want everyone to know what you know. The other thing I would love for people to know about you, number one, I can't imagine anybody not benefiting from a consultation with you. I feel like there would be at least something there that they go, what, really? Right? And have a big aha moment. And who knows what kind of benefit they'd get out of it. I never felt judged by you, Connie. I know that you're an active person and you play tennis, and we got to meet in person when you did the Boise workshop, and then we're going to Egypt together in January. I never felt judged by you, and I know you're better at a lot of things with your health and physically than I am, but I never felt insecure or judged or, oh, she's really gonna, she's gonna say I'm a loser in this department of my life. I never felt that. I always felt it's gonna make me cry. I always felt your welcoming, loving, nurturing nature.
Thank you, Jill. I mean, I want to walk alongside you in this journey because there is no, pristine right way to do it. I'm not perfect in how I live my life and eat, what's on my plate every day. But it's not about that. It's about understanding what you need as a human being to feel like you want to feel in your human body. And so you can be as amazing as you are, infinitely. Yeah.
Can you also tell us a little bit about what it takes to be a certified nutritionist? Because I think some people don't understand. You've been right there with me when I talk about the most sophisticated things related to cardiology or whatever. You're always like right there with me. And I'm always so impressed with your vast amount of knowledge.
Well, as a nutritionist, I get, people from all walks of life who have all kinds of different ailments and they need different things. So we are, I've got a beautiful team of mentors through functional diagnostic nutrition and metabolic typing. And they're basically, we're always studying, we're always researching. There's new information coming out. I feel like I'm on the cutting edge of this field because I don't have the gatekeepers that other physicians have and dietitians have, so we can be a little more holistic minded, and that gives me great, it unleashes any kind of stop gates so that I can offer you more as a nutritionist, and I'm a consultant, not not a doctor. So it just gives me that much more, and I'm driven to understand what you're going through. So I will, either get off the phone with you after you've offered what the doctor told me, and I'll research it myself in a more holistic, natural healing remedy fashion. Beautiful. So that I can give you what, because there is a lot of misinformation out
Yeah.
there, but I have resources, untapped resources. I haven't even gone down those rabbit holes, at times, because I just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like absolutely I will do anything I can to, and if it doesn't feel right to me, I'm not going to offer it to you. So that's where the intuitive part of me comes in.
Yeah.
So we get the best of both worlds.
Okay. Thank you for that. The other thing I wanted to, because some people may not realize how little nutritional training medical doctors have.
Right.
Obviously, I'm speaking about the AMA because I'm a U.S. citizen, and that's the one I know the best. But even with my heart journey this year with various cardiologists, no one ever said, tell me what you're eating on an everyday basis, because that's not their. Can you talk a little bit about that and why nutrition, no matter what ailment somebody is facing, whether it's something they're working on with a doctor or not, how working with you in parallel on the side, together, they're probably going to get a much better outcome.
Unfortunately, the doctors are not trained in nutrition. And when they are trained in nutrition, those dollars that the AMA, the information that they, and I'll be careful about this.
I'm sniffing a conspiracy.
Yes, the information that they are getting is, Pepsi Cola and all of those huge corporations funding the information provided for the educational, even the university in my town. I chose not to go back to get a master's in nutrition because it was antiquated information.
Wow.
So I follow a holistic
whole foods
parameter that is whole food based, completely whole food, organic food, obviously because of pesticides, glyphosate, GMOs. I could go on, and it's depressing to have to So I'm offering you real whole food offerings to really, honor your body and nourish it the way it was intended by nature.
Love it.
So that's why I will work with any doctor, and I'm never ever going to step on that medical toe. It doesn't matter, because they're wonderful in their own right as well.
Oh yeah.
But we can really upgrade the body and nourish it with whole foods, good quality fats, quality proteins, quality carbohydrates and vegetables with even good quality grains if you need that. We're all unique and we need different macronutrients, but literally having that information available so that undeniably, you're going to feel better.
Yes.
So you're going to respond better to
any sort of treatment plan,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And I have clients that go to the skin doctor check, the dermatologist, and last year they had 14 things burned off their skin, and this year, after eating well with lower inflammation and getting the body back on track and balance, the doctor's like, wow, what are you doing?
So amazing. They're surprised, right?
Countless stories about that.
Are you okay to go a couple more minutes?
Sure.
I know we're going a little bit longer. I didn't want to run into a client session or something that you have.
We're good.
Related, I think expanding on that a little bit, I know for myself, sometimes when I feel like there's multiple challenges I'm trying to get through related to physical health, I'm like, okay, I'll do this one first, and then I'll do this one, and then I'll clean up, the diet or whatever. And now what I realize is I'm going to get the best bang for my buck in terms of priorities if I focus on cleaning up my food first.
Absolutely.
And I can't believe how, even with the program that I created, Minding the Matter, there's such my outcome list in terms of like scaly skin on my nose, speaking of dermatology, right? Maybe a little, probably a low grade version of rosacea. How clear my mind was. I would have never expected, and nobody could have told me how much better I'd feel even within 2 weeks of completely cleaning out my diet. No fast food, me preparing my own meals, getting enough veggies, really avoiding the fruits, and for me, no junk food. And when I do eat red meat, that it's grass-fed, organic, all of just really clean protein sources. Yeah.
Well, if we could get back to that,
yes.
Our bodies are designed to heal.
Yeah.
And if you give it what it needs, and you can't exercise your way out of a poor diet, and 2 hours after eating, your body should feel amazing if you get it right.
Yes.
And having that balance and that ease in your physical body. I mean, I remember when I learned how to do it and got it right. I was there's so much to that story, but feeling like I never wanted to eat again because I felt so good. And, obviously you get to that point where it's like, okay, it's time to eat again. Now I need to choose again what works. And having that information at the tips of your fingers and knowing, it's a practice. It's not about doing it 100% every day. It's about appreciating, I know what my body needs.
Yeah. And
when you tap into that wisdom and appreciate that, how it feels what it feels like in your body to feel good.
Yes.
Because of a choice that you made to nourish your physical body. I mean, that's a cellular situation. and it has to be tended to.
Yes.
You would never put crap in your cart, the gas tank.
It's true.
You would never
Didn't
put
even
Twinkies
think about
in there.
that. Yeah.
Never.
It's so true.
When you can appreciate, and it takes effort and it takes desire and a choice that you get to make about what to eat. And when you get that down, because you understand it and experience it, it's undeniable. Are you going to get off track? Sure. You're going to go and you're going to do, celebrate and have something that you isn't amazing for your system. But you're not going to be impacted like you were in the past.
Yeah.
Because your body's designed to, figure out, okay, that wasn't so good. It's not going to dismantle us. We're going to figure it out and we're going to heal. And she's going to be better, or he, whoever it is going to make a good choice the next meal to really kind of get us back on track. And that's what my clients tell me. I didn't realize it was so easy to do this.
Exactly. Yeah. And so worth it. I think if they knew once, well, they won't know until they do it themselves and start feeling better. But it's like, oh my God, even if it is a little bit more effort or a lot of more effort at the beginning, because it's easy to drive through Wendy's, right? Wendy's fast food.
Sure.
But once you get it, it's like, oh, it's not even worth it. I wouldn't even want to have the French fries in my body now when I taste that kind of food. I'm just like, ew, it's disgusting.
Sometimes it's not even the French fries. Sometimes, you go on a health kick and you do a smoothie.
Yeah.
And a smoothie is...
Oh, you got to talk about smoothies for a bit because you've got a good rant on this.
If you went to, Jamba Juice or somewhere and they make you a smoothie, look at the sugar grams in that.
Yes.
It's insane.
It's as much or more than a Coca-Cola.
Oh, a Snicker bar. I mean, honestly, it's ridiculous.
Okay, now what about somebody that would say, but it's natural sugars?
Well, but natural sugar, sugar.
It's still a glycogen spike, right? A glucose spike. Is that right?
Absolutely, and it's addictive, and it's your insulin is.
It's like cocaine. It's like cocaine to your body. It's just like whoosh. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's bad.
When you're on, when you have too much sugar in your system, your body is going to do nothing but store fat.
Oh.
It cannot use that fuel at all. It just locks it away and you wear it.
Hoping you use it on a rainy day.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So those are the things I teach you.
Okay.
I teach you about how food affects your biochemistry.
Right.
And it's not, we don't do science class.
Yeah.
I learn who you are and I assist you in understanding how to do the meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever you need.
Yep.
It's not difficult. It's just understanding.
The other cool thing is that because you also have intuitive abilities, you meet people where they are. Because I didn't get a lesson in sugar because I already knew from previous experiences of doing a high quality ketosis that sugar was my kryptonite.
Absolutely. It's mine too.
Yeah, I'm like,
I love it.
oh, those brownies with walnuts and an ice cream sundae, right? But it's not worth it now because my inflammation is down and I feel so good, and I love wearing my size 8 jeans and feeling just that, I can feel the curve where my waist is, and it's just like, yes. Yeah, at any age, this should be possible to feel mobile and healthy and fed by our food versus weighted down and groggy from what we eat. That's a problem. It shouldn't be that way.
Well, it's a faulty system that offers that kind of garbage, for it's so readily available.
Dang it. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Connie, thank you. I'm so glad you said yes, because now that I know how big nutrition and food and what we eat and supplementation, how huge, what a huge portion of my well-being that is. I've said you can't meditate in your way into well-being. I love your line. You can't exercise your way into fitness. I love that when I found you, and I love that you already know about my work. So I just want to say to anyone, if you like my work and you're curious about how you can do better physically, I highly recommend that you check out Connie's work and just do the initial consultation and start there. You'll probably be very motivated and inspired and feel like you're in very confident, wise, educated hands with the leading edge of nutrition and health and wellness, and Connie is right there for you.
Thank you, Jill. I'm so grateful to be able to share with you and your audience exactly what I want to offer. And I just, want to walk alongside you in your health journey and offer everything I know how so that you can be as amazing as you are, physically as you are infinitely.
Yes. Yeah. And I know we're wrapping up there. It's just, I keep thinking of other things to talk about because this is such a vast thing. So I will add this too. I realized at some point I actually couldn't trust my doctors regarding when they did have nutritional advice. Even for one of the heart procedures I had, they chose the heart healthy diet for me. And the one night overnight stay I had in the hospital, I took a video and sent it to you.
I know.
And I'm like, okay, I got margarine. I got it was a chicken. There was no fat, no salt, and it was like Mrs. Dash. I don't even know what's in there, but that's not even real shit, right? And I'm just like, God, there's all this frankenfood, and this is my heart healthy diet. So I was just laughing, like, God, they just don't get it. They really don't get it. And they're experts in what they're experts in, but they're not experts in nutrition, and they will give you the wrong advice. My parents still buy, I can't believe it's not butter, and every time I see it, I just want to go, oh my God. Yeah.
It's chemicals. Chemicals. You don't get me started.
Anyway, so I just wanted to add that to somebody that may be in a significant health crisis. It's like, well, I'm just doing my doctor says, I love you guys, and your doctor may be great at certain things, but I guarantee you, Connie will get you further along in your health journey by what she knows about nutrition, and then add it to whatever your doctor's saying. But you may want to ignore their advice on the health part because it's like you said, it's antiquated. They're not looking at the latest research. They can't be.
Well, no, because they're not being shown that.
You're right.
Because it's really
they're too busy with the pharmaceuticals and what new drug there is.
And nothing wrong with pharmaceuticals, but that fake food, that's chemicals that your body has to figure out what to do with.
Yes.
And it's just stressful on the body.
Yes.
Why not eat real food?
Our poor bodies.
Healthy.
So, whole, grass-fed butter, whole milk versus, even when I see somebody get 1% or 2% milk or skim milk, even worse, I'm just like, oh.
No. Oh, talk about, skim milk. That's what they use to fatten, dried non-fat milk is what they use to fatten pigs. Yep.
Man.
Look at the sugar grams. Look at the lactose grams. Look at the carbohydrate grams in your low-fat, non-fat milk.
It's just, I'm so easy to anger about this because our society as it is today in this dark age has made it so hard to do the right thing by our bodies. So I do get pissed off about it, but then I'm also like, okay, I got to figure out what really works. And I know that when I eat real food, whole milk, even better yet, what's it called? The milk that's unpasteurized, raw milk. Raw milk. Oh God. But in some states, it's illegal.
It's illegal. But when you think about raw milk, it has the enzymes still intact, much like an apple. Obviously, you would say, of course, an apple is healthy, but apple juice is full of sugar.
Fruit juice is just like I think all fruit juice is just as bad as a Coca-Cola.
So the raw milk is pasteurized, and so the sugars are not able to. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But it's the same as an apple versus apple juice.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Or an orange versus orange juice. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Eat real food.
Yeah.
Don't eat processed food.
Yeah.
It's simple.
It should be simple. When we know what to do, being well is simple. Connie, thank you so much. I love you so much. And I'm so excited for people to meet you. And I'm so excited for you to meet them. We have the best audience ever. Such cool people. I love you, Connie. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.